Peace, friends. My name is McKelway. I'm the pastor here at the South Lansing campus of Sycamore Creek Church. It's great to see you this morning. We like to start off our services with a little bit of audience interaction, and we're talking about water this month. So do you prefer salt water, bodies of water, or fresh water? Salt. Thank you. Yes, I'm a saltwater girl, but I understand that we're at the fresh coast, and that's what we're about. So we have a couple of songs to sing this morning. Would you stand with me as you're able, and let's sing together.
Wish I could tell you, wish I could describe it, but I can't contain it, can't keep it to myself. Enough colors to paint the whole picture, not enough words to ever say what I found. Wonderful and beautiful and glorious and holy, He is merciful and powerful. Who we talking about? That's my King. We declare the glory, give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who we talking about? There's no one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who we talking about? That's my King. I'm not letting the rocks cry without joining the chorus. There aren't enough notes to make that harmony. It's a song of the through all the ages, since all the earth and heaven symphony. Wonderful and beautiful and glorious and holy, He is merciful and powerful. Who we talking about? That's my King. We declare the glory, give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who we talking about? That's my King. There's no one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who we talking about? That's my King. My King, that's my God, that's my shepherd, my protector, that's my King. That's my rock, that's my anchor, my defender, that's my King, that's my God, that's my shepherd, my protector, that's my King, He's my rock, that's my anchor, my defender. Who we talking about? That's my King. We declare the glory, give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who we talking about? That's my King. We declare the glory, give Him all the honor, altogether worthy. Who we talking about? That's my King. Oh, there's no one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who we talking about? That's my King. 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 I'm awake. How about you guys? Thank you guys for singing with us. You can have a seat. And kids, it's time for Kids Creek. Gretchen's right back there waiting for you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And joining me this morning as my co-host is Jenny Metzmaker. Everybody say hello to Jenny. Hello.
Hello.
Jenny is from Positive Somebody. Would you tell us just a little bit about Positive Somebody and how you got it started?
Yeah, absolutely. So Positive Somebody is a nonprofit that I started about 5 years ago. It has been fully functioning for about 4 years. We are a nonprofit that promotes positive mental health in children and families. The way that we do that is we go into schools and we teach children how to recognize their emotions and regulate them. We're just in the Lansing area with our Weather Within program, which does that. Our largest program is our Positive Pack program. This has a hardcover journal writing activities, information about sleep, nutrition, hydration. It comes with a sleep mask, a breathe stone, breathing activities, fidgets. It also comes with resources in your area. We are solely preventative nonprofit, and so we want to make sure that you're getting the care that you need. And so we have a great community partners that we have a list of in our Positive Packs. I do have these scattered throughout the lobby.
They're in the cafe.
Yeah, the cafe. I called it a lobby.
Oh, yeah.
The cafe. So if anybody would like to take one when they leave, you're more than welcome to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. When you came in this morning, you should have gotten a program, and in that program is a connection card. I want to invite you to pull that out, whether it's your first time here, if you've been coming for years, write your name on it, write your email, any other information you feel comfortable sharing with us. We'll give you more information on what to do with that later in the service, but hang on to that.
Yeah.
And then we like to take selfies here.
Oh.
We're a cell phone friendly church, and
don't tell my boys because they get after me all the time. Like, stop with the selfies, Mom. Just stop.
Okay. Well, we're gonna post one.
Okay.
All right.
Love
so
it.
Snap a selfie and post that to your social media with the hashtag SCCMI. It's just a way of starting conversations kind of passively with your community about faith communities and the faith community that we are here.
Yeah.
So this morning we are continuing our series. We started it last week called Strong Like Water. This is sort of a heavy series, but it's also really powerful and really good.
Yeah.
We have 3 campuses, and one of our other pastors, Pastor Tom, is going to open up our sermon this morning, our message this morning, with our first segment. So our message this morning begins with this.
You've been told you need to be strong. But what if strength doesn't always mean holding it all together? What if true resilience feels more like water, flowing, flexible, and alive with God's love? In this series, you'll discover how you can move from surviving to thriving, finding a strength that heals, restores, and carries you forward.
This sermon is rated R for existential swearing at God and topics of suicide and rape. Back in 2018, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. And after having had a surgery, we were back in the oncologist's office when we learned that she was going to have to do chemo as well. After the doctor left the office, I was so angry and frustrated, I looked up to heaven and I shouted, "I fucking hate you, God," but like a lot louder. Now, what I'm really embarrassed to admit is that I wasn't swearing at God because I was angry that my wife got breast cancer. I was swearing at God because this was the year that I was on sabbatical and Sarah's cancer was messing up my plans for my sabbatical. There you go. There's your not so holy pastor on so many levels. I decided to attend a cancer support group for couples at Sparrow Hospital. except that I was by myself because I'm that kind of guy. And my wife didn't come because, well, she's that kind of gal. And so here I am sitting with all of these couples who are like the age of my parents. And I'll tell you what, to a T, every woman went around that circle and she declared how helpful her husband was because he was like a rock. I felt nothing like a rock in that moment. All I could commit to with Sarah was, I'm a mess, and I'm in this mess with you. My guess is that those dudes didn't really feel like a rock, but because they were a little older generation than me, they had learned better than I had how to shove all their emotions down and pretend that they weren't also a mess. I wanted to be supportive of my wife, but I was struggling in my own selfish mess. We've been taught in our culture, especially men, that strength is like gritting through it, never letting them see you sweat, never breaking out of like this strength that's going to see us and those around us through it, like carrying the weight of the people around us on our shoulders. But what if strength is something different? What if strength is more like, well, strong like water? You see, water is strong, but it's also flexible. Today, we're going to explore this surprising truth. The strongest thing you'll do is stop pretending that you're fine. Let me say that again. The strongest thing that you will do is to stop pretending that you are fine. Now, our culture idolizes the strong, the stoic, the self-reliant. We celebrate those who push through, suck it up, hustle harder, never failing. And we carry that same idea of strength into our spiritual lives, into our relationship with God. We read verses like this: I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And we think that means powering through the pain, never letting people see us fail, because Christ is our strength. But here's the real problem. We think we're strong. We think we're not falling apart. But underneath it, we are just surviving. We're not thriving. Maybe you're saying to yourself, people have always told me I'm so strong, but I'm tired of having to look like I have it all together. Today we're continuing in a series based on a book by Andy Colber called Strong Like Water. Pastor Mikkel is going to be doing a live Q&A on all of our various channels online, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, our website. She's also leading a small group at Frandor, Barnes & Noble. And these are some great resources for taking this idea of what it means to be strong like water and going deeper with it. Remember, water is strong, but it's also flexible. It can cut through a mountain, like deep gorges into a mountain, but it also is flexible. It can fill any container that you put it in. Underneath the mask of strength, we're exhausted. We're hurting. We are hyper vigilant. Last summer, I decided it was time to introduce my boys to the great series of movies, The Hunger Games. I mean, it's a great series of books if you haven't read it, if you haven't watched the movies. I mean, it's about this dystopian future. Although I gotta admit, every time I open the newspaper these days, I feel like maybe we're actually living in the Hunger Games. 16-year-old Katniss Everdeen volunteers to take her sister's place in the Hunger Games, a televised fight to the death among youth from the 12 districts of Panem. As she battles for survival, Katniss navigates violence, political manipulation, and her own moral compass, all while becoming an unexpected symbol of rebellion. On the outside, she's the girl on fire, the picture of resilience. But inside, especially as the series goes on, she's haunted by trauma. She can barely sleep, She pushes people away. She hides her grief. Her strength masks the wounds that never got the space to breathe. Speaking of breathing, let's stop and catch our breath. Take a deep breath. And let's turn to our neighbor, or let's reflect in the comments your answer to this question. What's a story? That could be a book, a movie, a TV show, or whatever. What's a story of someone who had to appear strong in order to survive? Let's talk about it.
All right. I hope you've had a good chance to talk. I thought about this after the segment started, just to let you know, last week I shared my story of like time that I had to be strong in a way that helped me survive in the moment, but then caused damage as time went on. And this week we heard from Tom. Next week I'll let you hear from Mark. Just that first segment, because we all have different stories and we all have different things that we've experienced. And maybe you relate to what I said last week, but maybe you relate to what Tom said this week. Maybe you'll relate to what Mark said next week. So that's part of that, idea behind that.
Yeah.
When I thought about this question, the story that came to mind, and I'm sure there are better answers. I'm sure that it's been a long time since I've read this series, but the Ender's Game series, there was one particular moment where I remember he was about to get beat up by somebody, and he said to himself, I have to not just win this fight, but all the future fights. And he didn't realize in that moment how much damage he did in the fight, but that was his narrative of I have to win the future fights too. And it just makes me think of someone who had to appear strong or act strong in order to survive. What came up for you, Jenny?
So I tend to look toward people in my life or people that I observe. And so I would say that a survival story for me would be my great-grandmother. I called her Nanny. She went by Mary. But she lived in downtown Detroit, and she went through a lot. She spent part of her childhood in an orphanage. She had lots of trauma throughout her life. She lived to be well into her 90s, and she passed away in her own home. She was very stubborn, but very strong-willed and very spiritual. I remember talking to her pastor after she passed away, and he said, I knew when she walked in the room, my job was done. She would take over. She would lead prayer, and she would all these things. And to carry so much strength when she had been through so much, and I didn't even tell you everything. She had been through so much, so just to watch that. But I look to other people who have been through stuff. I tend to look toward real life stories, Maya Angelou, Ruby Bridges, stuff like that. People that had courage and bravery to get through things in their life. I try to model behind that. When I don't want to get out of bed in the morning to keep going because running a nonprofit is hard, I'm like, where's my courage? I get it from other people. I get it from my husband and my children, and I try to, get it from others and just pray, God, please give me the strength to keep going.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
All right, let's continue on with our message here. So Tom introduced the series a little bit. We're talking about this book, Strong Like Water, and Today we're going to be talking about what's called situational strength. And this is what happens when our bodies go into a stress response. When, we might call it fight or flight, but there's also freeze, there's shutdown, there's fawning. We're not thriving in this state, we're reacting. And a lot of times it's happening on a subconscious level. We're not really thinking about what we're doing before we're reacting. Kolber says that living with this constant sense of threat causes you to bypass or unconsciously ignore good things because diverting attention from the bad could endanger your survival. So if you imagine being like in a life or death situation, you're not going to stop and take in the sunset, right? Because you're surviving. You have to put all of your energy into surviving. And so when we're stuck in that space, in that cycle, it's harder to appreciate the good things. In a very real sense, though, situational strength is strength. It's strength. It's the strength to survive, but we can get stuck there. And if we live out of situational strength for too long, whether because the danger is still present, which happens, or the trauma is so deep, our experiences will remain fragmented in our bodies and our psyches. So the fragmentation affects everything. It affects our relationships. It affects how we show up to work, our sense of self, even our faith. Like you might show up on a Sunday morning and you have a smile on your face and you're happy to be here, but like inside, you feel alone. You feel unsafe, afraid. Jenny mentioned Maya Angelou, and I want to talk about her for just a moment. She's often celebrated for her eloquence and her resilience, but her journey to strength began with silence. She experienced trauma as a young girl. Her mother's boyfriend raped her. And when she told her family, her brother, who told her family, her mother's boyfriend was murdered, most likely by her uncles. Angelou stopped speaking for nearly 5 years. And we might be tempted to look at something like selective mutism as a kind of weakness. But Kolber considers it a kind of strength, situational strength. It helped her survive. Angelou said, "I thought my voice killed him. I killed that man because I told his name, and then I thought I would never speak again because my voice would kill anyone." And then her family never really talked about it. So she never experienced that safe space to use her voice to process it. She later said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." So then it was only through the slow, quiet presence of a teacher and the power of literature that she found her voice again. And so that journey from silence to self-expression, it wasn't about performing strength or pushing through or white-knuckling through things. It was about cultivating it in spaces of safety, healing, and self-awareness. And for Angelou, the silence was that safe space. She said, in those 5 years, I read every book in the Black school library. When I decided to speak, I had a lot to say. And I had many ways in which to say what I needed to say. In her famous work, she said, "The caged bird sings because with a fearful trill, the caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom." Her life reminds us that healing is not always about noise or action. Strength isn't about looking strong or talking the loudest. Sometimes it begins with silence, with listening, allowing ourselves to be nurtured back into speech, back into agency, back into wholeness. So this is the turning point. What if we've misunderstood what strength really is? What if strength isn't about pretending or powering through? What if strength is about being able to feel your feelings? And maybe the strongest thing you'll do is to stop pretending that you're fine. Kolber says, what if our innate ability to survive distressing, overwhelming, or traumatic experience is strength, but so are tenderness, compassion, feeling our feelings, and learning to rest. And this is what Kolber calls a flow of strength. It's a movement from situational strength, which is survival. Transitional strength was when you're stepping back and looking at these situations, sort of choosing how you're going to respond. You're moving from reaction to responding. And then integrated strength is when you've processed all of that stuff and completed the cycle. The flow of strength is engaging, so I'm going to go through it again. Situational strength is engaging your body's coping mechanisms to survive trauma. Transitional strength is engaging compassionate resourcing to process trauma while moving in and out of being activated. So you're like choosing to step into the trauma, be activated, and then coming out, finding your resources, getting grounded, and then doing it back and forth. I hope that makes sense. Then integrated strength is living so rooted in God's love for you that you no longer need that situational strength for your past experiences. You're gonna be going in and out of that cycle because life is just like that, and your life doesn't move in only one direction. This is how she imagines this. You see, there's situational strength, transitional, and integrated strength, and there's a good amount of overlap between the two. It's not like a 1, 2, 3 step, you're finished. There's not a finish line here. Jesus doesn't model brute strength. He models for us presence. He doesn't dismiss our tears or belittle them. He joins in them with us. In John's telling of Jesus' life and ministry, we find the shortest verse in the Bible, 2 words, that redefine what it means to be strong. If you grew up in church, you probably memorized at least this verse. Jesus wept. Jesus wept. Jesus, the embodiment of God, of all that we might consider strong, doesn't say to his friend Martha, whose friend just died, whose loved one just died, Lazarus, he doesn't say, just wait. I got it, Martha. Be strong. Pull it together. No, he cries with her. This is regulated strength. That's compassion in action. The strongest thing you'll do is stop pretending that you're fine. This reminds me of an image and prayer from Justin McRoberts and Scott Erickson's book, In the Low. Scott Erickson is an artist, someone I've been following for a long time, and he and Justin McRoberts released this book. It's a collection of images and prayers. And it says, I know when I'm given lemons, I'm supposed to make lemonade. And I know I'm supposed to take my pain and turn it into something useful. But today, with the ingredients of my life in front of me, all I can make is a turd sandwich. Thank you for hearing my honest prayer. You know, we feel like we're supposed to find the silver lining, to take lemons and make lemonade, but sometimes we have to admit, all we've got is the ingredients of a turd sandwich. That's what life is sometimes. And being honest about that is the first step toward healing. Kolber adds, part of this process is I could push myself to try to make lemonade out of turd sandwich ingredients, but I don't want to do that because now I know what it's like to feel this sense of myself rather than constantly reacting to fear or trauma. So once you find that deep sense of self, you find that you can respond to things instead of reacting subconsciously. This doesn't happen by pushing harder. It happens by learning to regulate your nervous system. It happens by grounding, by honoring your story and connecting to others who create a sense of safety, who love you fully. Because love isn't weak. Love is durable. It's what enables us to move from reacting to responding. And it helps us to regulate our bodies, restore our stories, and rebuild our lives. Kolber says, love changes us in ways that fear and danger cannot. It both softens and strengthens us. Fear and danger change us in some ways, but love changes us in a different way that helps us to be strong in a different kind of way. Soft and strong. We're going to pause here for another chat question. What would it look like if being strong started with being soft and flexible? We're going to have 90 seconds on the timer. I'm going to invite you to turn. You can get up and move around. And if this question doesn't feel right to you, you can talk about something else. Take a minute, have a conversation. All right, Jenny.
Hi.
So what would it look like if being strong started with being soft and flexible? What comes to mind for you?
What comes to mind for me is just maybe taking a look within yourself. I have done lots of therapy, and my therapist sometimes has to tell me, nope, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So you do have to take the time to look within and say, maybe this isn't working, and have the strength and be flexible enough to try something new, and then to be soft with yourself. I have to give myself so much grace.
Yeah.
I have ADHD, and so running a nonprofit and doing all these things, I'm not always as organized, but I try really hard to bring in people who are organized people. So I do have to give myself strength, grace to have strength.
Yeah.
And so I think when I talk about soft and flexible, you have to give yourself grace to be able to know that you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's flawed. I'm very flawed. So allow yourself grace and to be flexible enough to say, hey, this is not working. And my therapist was right. It's time to try something else. So that's what I think.
When I think about this question, I think about there's a couple of people that I can think of who are so gentle and yet also strong. And so when they challenge something that I'm thinking of, I don't ever experience it as a challenge to me. It just feels like, a different way of thinking about it. Hopefully you know some folks like that too. But then when I think about how to offer that kind of strength to myself, what comes to mind is like awareness, non-judgmental awareness. It's really easy for me to jump from, I'm feeling this, I shouldn't be feeling this, I need to feel something different.
Yeah.
I call that feelings about my feelings. And the path for me to be strong and gentle to myself is to just observe it.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh, that's what's happening in me. I wonder why that is.
And allowing yourself time to take that moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because then I can let it be what it is, and then eventually get to changing a narrative. But like if I jump straight to changing it, then I'm actually still feeling all those things. Yes. I've just shut them down and I'm pretending to feel something else.
And I'm a solutions finder. I think that's my strength. I always tell people I find solutions. I think that's why I continue with my nonprofit, is because every no is like, but what can you do? So I'm like, I find solutions. And so I think that's important to take a minute, take a step back and find that solution.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's keep going. All right, so we've talked about this idea that the strongest thing you'll do is stop pretending you're fine. Because situational strength is strength to survive. But if we live there in that kind of strength, it can hurt us and it can hurt other people. It can hurt the people around us. We're meant for more than survival. We're meant to thrive. Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. So life, survival, situational strength, and life to the full, integrated strength. And then everything that's in between. Transitional strength and the process and the journey and the healing. We might say surviving kept you here, and thriving is one of the things that makes being here worth it. This is the flow of strength. Kolber says the strength of resilience doesn't happen because of wounding, but because of what happens afterward. When we're stuck in taking lemons to make lemonade, it can be tempting to say, well, that bad thing that happened to me was actually good because it produced this resilience in me. But the strength of resilience doesn't come because of that bad thing, but because of what happens afterwards, because of the healing. Full life is not white-knuckling survival. It's resting in love. It's flowing like water. It's strong, but flexible. So here's the invitation to us this morning. You don't have to hold it all together anymore. You don't have to be the strong one. You don't have to ignore your pain. You've heard it from Kolber. You've seen it in Jesus. And I'll say it again. The strongest thing you'll do is stop pretending you're fine. Every week, we're offering a compassionate resource, some kind of practical thing that you can do to take this from just being an idea, a thought experiment, and then actually practicing it. Today, our compassionate resource is going to be a series of questions. And so I'm going to ask you the questions and then just provide a little bit of space for you to reflect. There's going to be 3 questions, and I'll leave the slide with all 3 questions for a little bit. So if you want to take a picture of it and then reflect on it later, you have the chance to do that. So whenever we do this, I like to say get into a position that is alert but comfortable. So you're not falling asleep, but you're not all kinds of tense. You might roll out your shoulders. You might take a deep breath. If it feels good to you, you might close your eyes. If that doesn't feel good to you this morning, you can just soften your gaze and look toward the ground. And so we're going to ask this question. What situational strength am I still carrying? Like, where might I still be pretending? Where is there a mask that I'm wearing that feels stuck? Is there a story that I'm performing that isn't fully true? And then you might ask the question, what did this strength protect me from? We're not going to shame it. We're going to honor it. It did something. It kept you alive. It protected you in a time that you felt vulnerable. It got you here. So name what it protected you. How did it benefit you? And then our final question is, what would it cost me to take it off? And what would it give me? I'm going to be honest about both because there's a cost. If it protected you from something, then there's a vulnerability to taking it off. It will cost something. But there's always a benefit to being real, to being more truly who you are. So what would it give you? God, we give you the strength that kept us alive but was never meant to be our home. the pretending, the performing, the hiding. God, we place it in your hands. Teach us to be real. Teach us that being loved as we are is better than being admired for who we're not. Amen. We have a couple of ways that we would like to connect with you. Maybe you want to connect with us. Maybe you are looking for a space to process some of what we've been talking about. I want to ask you to go ahead and pull that connection card back out. Flip it over. There's some next. Well, that was surprising.
What was that? We're
I
awake.
don't know.
Is everybody awake? Yeah, okay.
We are now.
If you weren't, you're now. You are now.
What a way to go from being really soothed and grounded to my adrenaline is going a little bit.
Yeah.
That's situational strength, by the way.
Yeah.
Your fight or flight was just activated. All right, so on the back of your connection card, there are these next steps. We're going to tell you a little bit about what those are. First is our groups and events. We have a catalog in your program with like 67 groups or events. Yeah,
Wow.
6, 7. I didn't do it on purpose.
I substitute teach on the
It was
side.
just there.
And the kids say that all day long, and
It's
I'm like,
wild.
6, 7.
I don't.
6, 7,
Yeah, I don't
all
know.
day.
It's kind of weird. My kids call it the unfunny number.
You know, I come back with, you know why 6, 7? Because 7, 8, 9.
That's right. All right, so there are groups in here, there are events. This will give you a heads up, like a preview of what's coming in the future. But this is our last week, official week to sign up. So go ahead and check that out. Mark it on your connection card. This month, we are doing, all through February, a tiny pantry collection. So we have a bin in the back of our space. We'd love for you to bring in supplies for our tiny pantry. Non-perishable food, high protein, easy open. If you scan the QR code or the QR code that's on almost any of our slides, it goes to a link tree, and in the link tree is our Amazon wish list. So you can even just order from that if that's easier for you.
And tiny pantries are such a great thing. I know that sometimes people don't like going to go get stuff. It's a little embarrassing to ask for help. It shouldn't be, but it is a stigma. And it's so nice to have these tiny pantries.
You can just go up and get what you need.
It's very discreet. Absolutely.
Yeah, we fill it like a couple of times a week, and it's consistently emptied.
Yes.
So we know there's a need
So it's
in our
important.
community.
Yeah.
Next week, the teens, 6th to 12th graders, are having a Super Bowl party at Pastor Tom's house. If you have a kid who is in that age group, mark that on your connection card. We'll get you his address. It's basically just the first half, because
yeah,
it's a long game.
The Super Bowl runs late.
It runs late. We're not trying to be out.
What a great
all
thing
that
for
late.
Tom. He's always a kid at heart.
I know.
Hang out with
true.
the kids.
That's
I love
true.
it.
There'll be good snacks too, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Coming up, super, I don't know, it always comes faster than I expect it to. Gas giveaway is in just a couple of weeks. So this is something we do every year on Mardi Gras. We give away $10 of free gas for an hour or until we run out of money. The money comes from our Christmas offering, and we partner with the marathon that's right next door. So the gas giveaway will start at 5:30, but if you're interested in volunteering, I'd love to have you join us volunteering. You show up here at 5 p.m., and we'll get our safety gear and create a plan and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
Great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think this is great.
Thanks for being here.
What a great sermon, too, just to talk about strength and all of that. And I liked how you pointed out you went through it because, and it's a good thing. So I went through childhood trauma, and I went through, my mom took her own life when I was 15, and people are like, but you're doing good now. And it's hard to think about, yes, it's a good thing, because you're thinking, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It was a terrible time. But it also gives you strength, and it's like, okay, you went through that, so what is your purpose? Where's your strength? What are you going to do next? And so I love that. I love it. It was so great. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Okay, so mark it off on your connection card, drop that in the blue bucket. And if you have a financial gift, you can also put that in the blue bucket or scan this QR code. I want to share just a little bit about what our facilities team has been doing. We have a team of people who do all kinds of work on the buildings of Sycamore Creek. And the director of that team is Thomas. You might know who he is. If you don't, you should know. I'm not going to make him come up here or wave because he does not want that kind of attention. But you should just know who he is because he's a cool guy. And this last year, he retired, and so he's been able to put more time and energy into building teams. So instead of it just being him going around and doing all the work at the buildings, like there's teams of people who are doing it.
Delegating,
yeah. But also like inviting other people to be part of that mission and like part of the purpose.
Communities are stronger together.
Really. And he connects with our contractors. So he's like the liaison between Sycamore Creek and the people who do work on our buildings. And it's really fun that like people come in and they're like, I've never been in a church like this, you know, and they like see different kinds of buildings.
Nice.
And he gets to see also like the different ways that Sycamore Creek is embodied at our different campuses. Nice. So this team is doing all kinds of work, and we're really thankful for them. And that's just some of what your giving is helping make happen at Sycamore Creek. We have 2 more songs to sing. Would you stand with me as you're able, and let's sing together?
That was so good. I am ready to sink into this concept, into the reality of God's reckless abandonment to love us. So I hope you guys will enjoy this one with us this morning.
You were singing over me.
down, but you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, no shadow you won't light up, mountain you don't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, there's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you don't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, I just deserve it. Yeah, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When all I see is the battle, you see my victory. When all I see is a mountain, you see a mountain move. And as I walk through the shadow, your love surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, for I am safe with you. So when I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you, and every fear I lay at your feet. I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And if you are for me, who can be against me? Yeah. For Jesus, there's nothing impossible for you. When all I see are the ashes, you see the beauty. Thank you, God. When all I see is a cross, God, you see the empty tomb. So when I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you, and every fear I lay at your feet. Now sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing Nothing can stand against the power of our God. An almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. An almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. When I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And every fear I lay at your feet. And I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Oh God, the battle belongs to you.
Thanks for joining us this morning. I hope to see you back next week as we continue this series with a message on transitional strength. As you go this morning, here's a question you can discuss. We're 1 month into 2026. How would you rate your year so far on a scale of 1 to 10? Until I see you next week, be curious, be creative, and be compassionate, and go in peace, friends.
When I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And every fear I lay at your feet. And I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you, and every fear I'll lay at your feet, and I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Oh God, the battle belongs to you.